Welcome to our InfyOm YouTube channel. Today we are going to see the installation steps of our product InfyHMS. So first of all, thank you for purchasing our product, and if you haven't purchased it and if you are looking to purchase our product, then I have given a link in the video description. So we have a very good guide on our documentation. You can find a link in the item description for documentation, release notes and various demo credentials. So here you can find the docs, here are release notes for the various releases we are doing, and you can also find the upgrade guide over here as well. So we have a very good guide over here where there is a detailed steps explain how to install InfyHMS on your cPanel server. But if you are looking for a video guide, then you are at the right place. So let's get started. So first of all, what I will do, I will go to my cPanel server, I will do login, and then the very next step that you need to decide is if you are planning to install it on your root server. So say like InfyOm.com, then you need to do it under your main public_HTML folder over here. But as I have my main website hosted, so I want to do it on the separate subdomain server. So what I did basically is I went to subdomain and I created one domain called hmsdemo.infyom.com, which is pointed to hmsdemo.infyom.com. So basically to this folder, which is right now empty. And if you want to test if your subdomain is working, which is very good step in first place, then the first thing that you should do is create index.php over here, and let's see what is installed and what is not installed on your server. So what I will do, I will just create one basic file and I will do echo php info and done. So I will save it. Now let's test our domain hmsdemo.infyom.com. so my PHP version, if you see, this is 7.0.33, but as our requirement, what we need is we need at least PHP 7.3 because we are using Laravel 7 for HMS. So if we go to laravel.com, let's verify our requirements. I will go to the 7, let's see the server requirements. So it needs at least 7.2. so what I will do first of all is I will go to my PHP version editor. So I will go to multi PHP manager. Oops, sorry. So I will go to the multi PHP manager, from where I will select my HMS demo and I will select PHP 7.3. you can do PHP 7.2 as well. It is applied. Let's verify it again, and now we can see PHP 7.3 is installed. So now it is using PHP 7.3. so we are done. So rest of the other extensions I have already verified, but if you want to do it, you can do this. For example, I can copy MB string over here. I will go here and find MB string, so that extension is already installed. So make sure all Laravel required extensions, and you should have at least MySQL 5.6, which is in our requirements, and jQuery and Ajax should be already there in a browser. So you just need compatible browser for that. So that is all about requirements. Now let's get started as per our documentation. So these are some additional tabs that you can do if you want, like the maximum file upload 50, post maximum size. If you are planning to upload a file which is greater than 50 MB, then you can do that. That is not a part of this video actually, but yeah. So we will going to see today how you can use, or how this guide can be useful for non-technical users. So very first step is copying the files to the web server. So if you have already purchased InfyHMS, you get one download file, and if you extract it, you will find this kind of 3 folders: distribution, docs and src. Docs is basically the same that we have hosted over here. Distribution is for non-technical users, which is all in one file that contains all dependency libraries and everything. But if you are a developer yourself, like a Laravel developer, then you can go for src.zip if you are planning to do some customizations and things like that. So the very first step is upload our dis.zip to our web server's root, public HTML or any other subdomain server where you are planning to do it. So first of all, let's extract it over here because we will going to need that in the future. So it is already done. So now what I will do, I will go to my file manager. I will just delete this file because our requirements are now done. Now I will upload the dis.zip over here. So I will select this file, I will do drag and drop, and now it is being uploaded. So the meantime it is being uploaded, let's see what is the next step. So the next step that we need to do is do our database setup. So for that we will need to create one database and then set up that database or use the database for our application. So let's go over here. So it is already uploaded, and let's close this window as well, this one as well, this one as well, we don't need it. So now if we see, we don't need this, let's just delete it. Now we need to extract this file. So I will do extract, path is correct, I will do extract files, and in a couple of seconds it should be done. So it is done, and now our first step is done. So we have uploaded the dis.zip file and extracted it. Remember again, if you are planning to use your main domain, then you need to do it under public.html. You don't need to create this separate folder, but if you are planning to host it on the separate server, then only you need to do that. So let's move ahead, let's create one database and then use the database. So for that, what I will do, I will go to my MySQL databases. Over here I have already one database. So say I will create HMS demo. My database name is HMS demo. I am creating a database. My database has been created. The another thing that we need to do is we need to create a user for the database. So I will say HMS demo, and I need to generate a password. I will use traditional password generator, and we need to copy it somewhere. So I will just copy it, I will paste it in one separate text file. I will say database password for the future reference, and I will say use this password, and let's hit create user. So now our database and our user both are created, but we haven't given access to our database to the user. So what I will do, I will go here, add user to the database. I will select HMS demo that we just created, and our database HMS demo, I will click add, and I will give all privileges and say make changes. Looks good. So now if you see here, we have database HMS demo, and we have a user which has privilege to access the database called HMS demo. So now what we did, we have created a database, and the very next step is under import, we need to import the default database to our database, because right now our database is empty. So for that, we will again go to the home. I will click PHP my admin, and it will redirect me to my PHP my admin panel. I will go here, I will select HMS demo, and I will go to the import. I will say choose files, and I will go to the desktop. I will select InfyHMS. I have already extracted this.zip, so in that I will go to the database, then I will select hms.sql. I will click open, and then I will click go. So what it will do, it will create all the required tables and all the necessary seeding data that we need. So some settings and everything that will be created. So now our database is ready. So let's move to the next step. So the third step that we need to do is set up our environment file. So we have .env file that we are going to modify, and the things that we need to modify is mentioned over here. So we need to modify first of all these 7 parameters. So I will go to the folder, I have .env file, I will click edit, let's edit it. I will give app name, so let's see it side by side, app name, app URL, and then db. So app name I will give InfyHMS demo. App env, let's leave it to local as of now, but later on don't forget it to change to production and this debug to false as well, or we will do that at the end of the installation once we are done, because right now if any error is coming, then we will need to resolve it and we will need to see it what is the exact error. And the app URL I will say hms-demo.infyom.com. The very next step is db parameter. So our connection is MySQL. I will say localhost over here. Port will be the same. Database that we need is HMS demo. So I'll go here, copy it, I will paste it over here. The user that we have is, let's go and select our user. So our username is this one, which I will copy and paste over here, and the password that I have copied, I will select this password, I will paste it over here. If you see, I have wrap it under the double quote, because if you have any special character in your password, then you should use double quote. So let's hit save. So those things are done. The very next step is we need to set up our mail configuration. So for that, let's go back to our cPanel. If you are managing your emails from over here, then you can follow these steps, otherwise you can skip that. You can use any third-party email services like outgoing email services, MailChimp or SendGrid or anything, any service that you are planning to use. In this demo we are going to use our cPanel's traditional email services. So I'll go to email accounts. I will see if I have already any HMS account. No, that's good. Let's go and create one. I will say HMS demo, and I will use password generator over here. Okay, this password looks good. So again I will copy it somewhere for the reference, mail password, and storage space 500 MB, because I'm going to delete it. I don't need it anymore after this demo. So I'll hit create. So now our email account has been created. Now let's try to get our configuration, because what we need this 8 parameters. So let's get the configuration step. If you have this same cPanel, then you can click on check email, and from here I will find my configure mail client steps. Okay, so there are 2 steps, one is non-SSL, one is SSL. We are going to use recommended, which is SSL. So the very first step that we need is mail driver, which we will stay with SMTP because it supports SMTP. So we will keep it SMTP. The next thing that we need is host. So for SMTP we have a host called mail.infyom.com, and the port is 465. So let's modify those 2 things. Over here I will say mail.infyom.com and 465. Then let's get our username, which is over here, hmsdemo.infyom.com. So I'll go and do it. Let's wrap that also into the double quote. Then let's get the password. let's copy this password, wrap that into double quote as well for encryption. As we are using SSL, so we will specify SSL. So I'll go here, I will write SSL. From address we will keep the same, so I will copy it over here, and the mail name I will right now say HMS demo. So that's it, I think. Let's save our changes. Let's go back, and these are the optional steps if you want to do. Like if you are planning to use different storage for your media, then you can configure these steps. If you are planning to use SMS, then you need to configure your Twilio SID and token and from number. If you are planning to use Stripe for payments, then you can do this. This is very simple. You can just go to your Stripe accounts and get keys, and you can paste it over here. Same for Twilio. So I think that's it for the second step. Let's get back to our second step is done. So I think we are done. We should be now able to do admin login. So let's try it. So I will open hmsdemo.infyom.com, and again we are getting this error. So for that, as I said, for some reason my cPanel is using by default 7.0 when I delete all the contents from here. So again, what I will do, I will go here and I will go to my multi-PHP manager. I will again select HMS demo. If you remember, we have cleared out all the files from the folder. That's why it has been reset to 7.0. And now I will do apply, and now if I do refresh, it should be able to open. Yeah, so it is working. We have debug mode enabled, that's why we are able to see this. Now let's try to do a login. I will click on login. I will copy the credentials from here. So admin@hms.com, and I think I already have the password saved. I will click login, and yep, we are able to see all the modules as the admin login. Now let's try out if our email credentials are working correctly or not. So for that, as mentioned in the doc, what you can do registrations, and you should get email for email verification. So if that is working, that means our email credentials are also working. So I will close this. I will close this as well since we don't need it anymore. I will close it. Let's do register, and I will type my name, I will type my email address, my phone number, anything, password. Okay, and if I do registrations, then it should ask me for email verification. So let's wait for the few minutes. Okay, registration is done, and let me check in the different window if I get the email or not. So yeah, meantime what we can do is, since it is working now, we can open our .env and we disable the debugging. So I will say debug false and production. This is a necessary step that you should do, because whenever you have hosted it on the production server, then you don't want to expose anything like your path or something like that. So when I do that, this debug bar should be disabled. If I do refresh, let me check my email has been correct. Okay, if I refresh this, now the debug bar has been gone, and hopefully I should get now the email. Okay, 1 second. So yeah, I got the email. So I got this kind of email, and when I click it, it will verify my account. So it is working. So yeah, that's all I think we have, and by this you should be able to host InfyHMS on your server. If is there any problem, or if you think if I miss any step, you can always contact our support, which is mentioned over here, labs@infyom.com, and yeah, we will see how we can improve the video as well, or you can also comment on the YouTube video. Thank you for again purchasing our product, and yeah, that's wrap. Thank you.